It's a random Tuesday night. You're half asleep on the couch, scrolling your bank app like it's going to magically tell you you're fine. Then you tap your investing app, and you see it. Yesterday, while you were stuck in meetings, answering emails, pretending you cared, your investments moved up $186. After taxes, your take-home pay for that same day of work was about $172. And your stomach drops, because this isn't a lottery win. It's not a good day. It's a line in your life quietly crossing another line. In a minute, I'll show you how to calculate the exact moment your money starts beating your job and how to make that moment happen years earlier without becoming a finance nerd. My name is Gaga, and I spend way too much time breaking down the hidden systems that decide whether you feel trapped or you feel like you can breathe. Today, we're answering one question: when does investment income finally beat your day job? Not in a manifested way. Here are the levers. Here's the math. Here's the timeline way. By the end of this video, you'll understand the one mechanic most people miss, why they stay stuck even with decent income, and the simple steps that move you toward the day work becomes optional. Quick thing: if you like calm, intense breakdowns that don't talk to you like you're stupid, hit subscribe and tap like. It tells the algorithm, show me the adults in the room. Now let's name the moment you're chasing. Most people think the goal is make more, but that's not the goal. So they try to invest while their life cost keeps inflating. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. Let me put real numbers on this with a scenario that looks like millions of working adults. Say you make 65, though the goal is to hit what I call the paycheck flip. The paycheck flip is the day your money produces more value than your labor produces in the same 24 hours. Not I'm a millionaire. Not I retired. Just, my money moved more than my job paid me today. And once you see that happen even once, your brain changes. Because it proves something you were never taught in school. You're not only a worker, you can become an owner. Here's the hidden mechanic that decides how fast you reach that flip. You're not racing your income. You're racing your life cost. Your job pay is one number, but your life has a second number: what it cost up. Most adults don't know their real life cost. They know their rent. They know their car payment. They know their Netflix. But they don't know the leak says you to exist. Not the bills you remember. All of it. And here's the part that messes people: the random app subscriptions, the delivery fees, the "we'll just put it on the card," the convenience premium you pay when you're exhausted. Using a year, after taxes and deductions, you might take home roughly $3,800 a month, depending on your state and benefits. Your life cost: rent, food, car, insurance. Everything might be $3,600, so you're living on a thin edge. You invest $300 a month. That feels responsible, but here's what's secretly happening. If your life cost keeps creeping up by even $100 to $200 a month over time, your finish line moves farther away while you run. So the paycheck flip is not just invest more. It's control the line you're trying to cross. And in 60 seconds, I'll show you the framework that attacks both lines at the same time without living like a punk. I call it the flip method. For steps: find the real number, lower the drag, increase the engine, protect the compounding. Each step is simple on pros because the goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to win. First, find the real number. A guy I know, call him Marcus, thought he spent about $3,000 a month. He finally looked at 90 days of statements and realized it was closer to $3,750, not because he was reckless, because of small weekend spending, convenience purchases, and auto billing he forgot existed. The move is simple: pull the last 3 months of spending and total it. No shame, just data. This works because you can't cross a line you can't see. Clarity isn't motivation, it's control. Second, lower the drag. A woman named Tasha wasn't bad with money. She was exhausted. So she paid for speed, delivery fees, ride shares instead of a bus, grab something quick meals, last minute purchases. Her spending wasn't lifestyle, it was friction. The move here is not to become extreme. Pick one drag category for 30 days: food, transportation, bills, or shopping, and reduce it by 10%, not 50, 10. This works because small reductions compound twice. You need less to live, and you free up cash to invest. That's a double push. Third, increase the engine. Javier worked the same job for 5 years, got tiny raises, and felt like he was failing. He wasn't failing, hounding. This is where people do everything right and then sabotage it. They invest, they build momentum, then the market drops, they panic, they sell, they lock in the loss. He was underpriced. He spent 1 month updating his resume, applying, and negotiating. He didn't become a millionaire. He got a job that paid $9,000 more per year. That's not hustle culture. That's correcting the market price of his skill. The move is 1 hour a week. Resume, applications, interview practice, or building one skill that pays. This works because your biggest investing advantage is not the stock market. It's your ability to increase contributions. Fourth, protect the comp. The move is to automate contributions. And set one rule: you don't touch long-term investments unless your housing or health is at risk. This works because compounding doesn't need brilliance. It needs time without interruption. Let me hit you with a clean pattern interrupt. You don't need a genius portfolio. You need an unbreakable system. Now I want to show you where this shows up in real life. Because these aren't abstract finance tips. These are everyday traps that steal yours from people who are trying. Transportation is a big one. You buy a used car because you're being responsible. 2 months later, check engine light. You ignore it because life is busy. Now it's a bigger fix. Then you miss a day of work because the car won't start. Now you're paying repair costs, lost wages, and stress interest. Transportation isn't just a cost. It's a volatility machine. When it breaks your budget rhythm. And your investing becomes optional. Here's what you do instead. You build a rolling repair buffer. $25 to $50 per paycheck into a separate account. Automatically, not when I can. Because the repair bill is coming. Either way, your only choice is whether it arrives as an emergency or as a boring Tuesday. And in a minute I'll show you why this buffer is one of the fastest ways to reach the paycheck flip. Even if you can only invest $50 a week, next is the money system itself: billing, credit, and friction. Your paycheck hits Friday. By Monday, it's gone. Not because you blew it, because money moved out automatically. Subscriptions, insurance, minimum payments, random annual renewals. Then you get hit with a late fee on something you didn't even know was due. The system is designed to punish disorganization with fees, and those fees are anti-compounding. Every time you pay a fee, you didn't just lose $35. You lost the investment contribution and the compounding that contribution would have created. Here's what you do instead. You create one billing rhythm. Move as many bills as possible to 2 dates around the 1st and around the 15th. Set auto pay for minimums so penalties don't happen, and then manually pay totals when you can. A calm system beats a perfect budget. Then there's housing. Housing costs are sticky. They don't just drain money, they drain energy, and energy is what you need to build the investing habit. Here's the trap. You move because rent jumped. You pay deposits, application fees, movers, utility setup fees. Then you buy little things because the new place needs them. Your recurring costs might not even drop much, but your one-time costs crush you. So the tactic is simple. Before you move, do the all-in move math in one sitting. Total move costs, add new recurring costs, subtract any savings. If you're not saving a real amount per month after the move, you might be swapping stress for different stress. If housing is your largest expense, your fastest acceleration is often a boring strategy. Negotiate renewal, reduce space, or find a roommate arrangement that lowers the biggest line in your life. Now let's talk about the health and time tax, because this one is invisible and brutal. When you don't have time, you pay for time. Fast food because you're drained. Delivery because you're overwhelmed. Expensive snacks because you forgot to shop. You skip workouts, you feel worse, and then you spend more for comfort. It's a loop. When you're overloaded, you buy relief. The market sells relief at a markup. That markup delays the paycheck flip. The counter move is not perfection. It's building a low-energy plan. A plan for the version of you that's tired. 2 grocery staples that become multiple meals. 1 cheap takeout fallback rule. 1 15-minute movement habit. Because health isn't just wellness. It's financial stability. Here's a second pattern interrupt, because it matters. A messy life is expensive. Now we have to address why this feels hard even when you're trying. This is psychology. And I need you to hear this without the shame voice in your head. There's a concept in behavioral economics called scarcity bandwidth. In normal language, when your brain is constantly managing not enough money, not enough time, not enough energy, your brain has less space for long-term decisions. So you don't fail because you're lazy. You fail because your mental bandwidth is already spent just surviving. That's why stressed people miss bills, forget renewals, pay late fees, and make convenience purchases they regret. Not because they don't care, because they're overloaded. So here's the reframe. You're not lazy. You're overloaded. And once you accept that, you stop using shame as a strategy. Shame doesn't create systems. Systems create systems. If this is hitting you, comment buffer, not as a motivational quote, as a public commitment to build the one thing that turns chaos into control. Now let's get practical. I'm going to walk you through a 7-day escape plan. Not escape your job tomorrow. Escape the feeling that your life is one surprise away from falling apart. Because that feeling is what keeps people from investing consistently. Day 1 is the reality scan. You pull the last 90 days of spending, total it, and you write down the real monthly life cost. One number. No judgment. Day 2 is the leak lock. You cancel or pause one subscription. You reduce one convenience trigger. You identify one leak that happens every week and you interrupt it for 7 days. Day 3 is the buffer build. You create a separate place for the buffer. You set an automatic transfer of $25 to $50 per paycheck, and you label it buffer. This comes before aggressive investing because the buffer prevents panic. Panic is the silent killer of compounding. Day 4 is the bill simplifier. You move bills to a predictable rhythm. You set auto pay for minimums so penalties stop. You set reminders for anything annual or weird. Day 5 is the contribution upgrade. You increase your investment contribution by 1% or by $10 to $25 per paycheck. Tiny is fine. The point is to build a system that grows. Day 6 is the income engine. You spend 45 minutes on one income lever. Resume, applications, interview prep, or learning a skill that raises your market value. Not forever. Just once this week. Because you're not trapped. You're under-negotiated. Day 7 is the protection rule. You write one rule and you keep it visible. You don't sell long-term investments. Because you feel panic. You automate contributions so your emotions don't get a vote. Now 3 rules to keep this from becoming a I tried one story. Rule 1. No investing without a buffer. The buffer is what makes consistency possible. Rule 2. Reduce drag before chasing returns. You can't outperform a life that leaks. Rule 3. Consistency beats intensity. Small contributions that never stop beat big contributions that quit. Now I'm giving you one negotiation script you can use today. Call your internet provider, your phone provider, your insurance, anyone. Say this: "Hi, I'm reviewing my monthly expenses and I need to lower my bill. I've been a customer for a while. What promotions, loyalty discounts, or plan changes are available right now that reduce my monthly cost? If there's nothing, can you tell me the cancellation process?" Then stop talking. Silence is a tool. Let them fill it. And here's the simplest automation that changes everything. Set your buffer transfer on payday. Then set your investment contribution to happen 24 hours after payday. Why 24 hours? Because if you do it the same day, life grabs it. If you do it a day later, you pay yourself first without feeling the hit as hard. Now let's pay off the open loop. Remember the moment at the beginning, the random Tuesday when your investments beat your take-home pay for the day. That moment doesn't require luck. It requires a system that stays alive long enough for compounding to show its teeth. Most people wait to feel ready before they invest. But the people who reach the paycheck flip do the opposite. They build buffer first so investing doesn't get interrupted. They automate contributions so emotions don't hijack them. They attack drag, transportation chaos, billing friction, housing instability, and the health time tax. And over time, the line moves, slow at first, then faster, because compounding is quiet until it isn't. One day you'll check your accounts and realize your money moved more than your job paid you today. Not because you're special, because you built a system. And that's the real freedom. Not quitting your job tomorrow, but knowing you're not trapped inside it. If you're starting this 7-day plan, comment buffer. And if you want more calm, intense breakdowns that help you control the equation, hit subscribe and share this with one person who's working hard but still feels stuck. Because it's not that they're broken, they're fighting an equation they were never taught. You're not broken.